In this tutorial, we'll go over the junior loan section and talk about the functionality in that section and how it impacts the purchase cost and the performance page. So on the property details page, there is a junior loan section within the title tab. So this section shows the information that was related to the purchase of the property and whether or not we bought a first, a second, a third, or a fourth. Minerva only has the ability to have to show 4 loans on the property. Typically, we only buy a second or a third. I don't even think I've ever seen us buy a third. So typically, we'll just buy a second. So how it works is when we go to auction, you'll see, or the person who's at the auction site will know that the property is that is up for auction is either has one loan, which is the first, or it has multiple loans. So if the property has multiple loans, and this information is also shown in Fortress, we will sometimes buy the second or the junior loan. If that ends up happening, we are obligated to pay off the first or the senior loans. So if we were to buy a third, we would be obligated to pay off the second and the first. In this example, we purchased a second. So we're obligated to pay off the first in order to get title. So that being said, what we actually end up paying at auction is less than what we would typically pay if we just purchased, if that property only had one loan on it and we bought the first. So in this example, at auction, we paid $40,000, $40,400 in the form of $45,000 worth of cashier's checks. And we estimated that we'd have to pay off $75,000 for the first. So this is what this is trying to show you. And if you look up in the corner, you'll see that we estimate the total purchase cost to be $115,400, which is the sum of what we paid at auction and what we estimate the first to be. And the sum of these two fields show up in the purchase details section in the purchase cost field and on the performance page. Okay, so you'll see that in the underwriting, the forecast, and the performa column, it shows that we are estimating that we're going to spend $115,400. So that being said, there's a possibility that we might end up spending more or less than what we estimated the first to be. So in this example, we estimated that the first will be $75,000. If we're lucky, it'll be less. So say in this example, we estimate that the first actually was $75,000, but it actually came in to be $65,000. And maybe we paid it on the 17th of December. So I'll save this. And what this is doing right now is it's going to update the purchase price to reflect what we actually spent on the purchase cost. So now you can see that in this corner here, this sum for the purchase price total dropped. It dropped 10 grand. So now it shows 105,400 instead of the 115,400. And that also updates on the purchase cost field within the purchase details tab. So the junior loan section dictates what shows in the purchase cost field. And then it will also show on the performance page in the forecast and in the performa. So let's take a look at that. So I'm going to reload this page, and we'll see that in the forecast, it shows $105,400, which is the sum of what we paid at auction plus what we actually spent, or what Minerva has as what we actually spent for the first. And you can also see this information by clicking on the junior loan indicator in the top corner of the property header, and it'll show you that, okay, the team put in that we spent 65 grand for the senior amount paid. So the forecast is showing the sum of the 65K plus the $40,400. And we estimated that we were going to spend 75,000. So we actually came in under, which is great. You can also tell that we've paid off the junior loan because this indicator turned green. So in the underwriting column, we keep what we estimated we were going to spend on the first, because we want to see the variance. We want to see that we thought we were going to spend $115,400, but we actually ended up only spending $105,400. And then if you look at the pro forma, you'll see, it still shows $115,400, but the value is blue. The color of the text is blue. And what that tells me is that accounting booked $115,400. So if that ends up happening, the acquisitions team and accounting need to fix this number in AX or D365, and then the new value will come over into Minerva nightly. So if we click on the pop-up here, it'll show that they put the 75,000 in here, but they might need to back that out and book the 65,000, which is what we actually ended up spending. Okay, so that's it. That's the junior loan section and how that impacts the purchase cost on the property details page and in the underwriting, the forecast, and the pro forma.